like with me, I'm saying, okay, although I'm FBA all day, if I see a Hispanic that need help, Mexican, whatever, you know, Caucasian, I don't care the color. If the child is in need, the child is in need.
But I do have to mention a few people. We're truly honored to be joined by a man who's a Democrat and a former member of the New York City Council, and he's been a friend of mine, and he helped me very much with the Ferry Point project and getting it working, and did a really good job. Ruben Diaz Sr. Come on up, Ruben.
Thank you. Mr. President, I am a Puerto Rican, a black Puerto Rican.
Now you see now, you done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all.
Now, y'all heard the video, right? You heard what this man said. I don't know why people get up and every time they want to make a statement, they want to hide behind black Puerto Ricans or look at me because I'm black. You understand what I'm saying? And for a minute, or at least for about 10, 15, oh shit, to be honest, most of my life, I believe that. I believe that we were all just one big nigga. And in all actuality, I'm looking around me, I don't see me no more, and especially in the Bronx. So this man, he gets up here and says this speech, you know, to Donald Trump, like, look at me. I'm black. I'm the black Puerto Rican with the Brillo pad head and those things like that. But since this man, him and his son, since they've been in office, foundational black Americans have nothing. You hear me? And I'm telling this to the people that don't live in the Bronx, that don't live in New York. If you come into the Bronx, it's no trace of us anywhere. And I blame us for the most part because we invite anyone into our house. We fight, we protest, even when the United States tell them no. You know, because before they didn't want the Puerto Ricans over here, just like they didn't want the Mexicans. But here we go with our black ass fighting for everybody. Now we got them over here. We don't have ownership of nothing. You don't see no trace of foundational black Americans nowhere. We vote these people into office. This man and his son got into office, and everybody after them and stuff. They pushed us right out the borough. Anywhere you go, anything you do, whether it be eat, sleep, or shit, you have to go to them for it. You have to go to a foreigner for it. You go to the bodega, the corner store, anywhere you go to the supermarket. You got the Dominicans, the Puerto Ricans, the Haitians, the Africans, anybody you name of, the Italians, the Russians. Everybody is over us. We don't have ownership of nothing. I'll be surprised if it's 10 stores or 10 businesses owned by foundational black Americans in the Bronx. And they making their way to Manhattan too. Everywhere you go, black Americans don't have ownership of nothing. And it probably serves us right because we invite everybody into our house. We fight for everybody. As soon as you say that you're black, oh, we down for that. Oh, yeah, they like us. No, these people look like us, but their heart is black. Ain't nothing. These people are not for us, I'm telling you. And I'm going to give you an example of him and his son, Ruben Diaz. You know, let me not get up here cursing, but I would say about 10 years ago, casework. I've been a caseworker at that time, probably about 15 years or so. I was a caseworker. And at that time I was at court, and my daughter, I think my son was down south, and then my daughter, like I tell her every day, get up, go to school, and I would normally walk her to school, and then just get on the train and go to work or whatever. But that particular day, I'm at work, and I think it actually had the day after or the day before that was my daughter's birthday, so she had some new outfit on or whatever. But, as we walk into school or whatever, I'm telling her, go to school, don't, cut class, because she was at that stage, stop running behind, everybody. And this one particular girl, used to stand there and wait for my daughter outside the school. And I'm a good judge of character. And I would size the girl up, A lot of time the girl was unkept, always loud. But at the same token, I think what kind of threw me off from her that, I seen a lot of, the students teasing her. So I would tell my daughter, like, to be nice to her. And even, give my daughter money. And then also give my daughter money to give to her as well. So if I bought my daughter breakfast, I would make sure she had breakfast too. Not for the girl to feel any kind of way or those things like that. But I also told my daughter when she comes, gets out of school to come straight home. Because I didn't want my daughter also caught up with the girl. Because I always seen that she was arguing with someone, always, into something or whatever. So, that day my daughter was supposed to have gone to school and everything was okay. Now, I'm at court advocating, fighting, for my client and stuff. And at the time, I worked for the Juvenile Justice Initiative Program and trying to keep this lady's son out of jail or whatever, and court acting a fool. I think the judge was getting ready to throw me out because, these are my people, black, Spanish, or whatever. You know what I mean? Power to the people. So I thought. You know what I mean? And they're acting a fool, trying not to give this boy or let this boy go to jail. Although, rightfully so, he did wrong. But at the same time, you didn't want to mess up, this kid record. I didn't want anything on the boy's record. I knew if he, can get into a good environment, that, him and his family, they can, do good things in life. So I'm standing there advocating on behalf of my agency, but even more so advocating because I looked at him as one of us. You know what I mean? And I had this thing where I believed before, like, I didn't want just my family to be okay. I wanted my whole community to be okay. And then fought, tooth and nail for that. Advocating to the bitter end. Even sometimes when I seen where's that I would go to some of my clients' house at being Hispanic, looking back, so racist, even though your son is in trouble. You know what I mean? And I'm coming, your Negro savior, you know what I mean? Knocking on your door to try to help you in your case and stuff like that. You understood that you needed the help from me and from my agency. But just like the prejudice and the racism, I would knock on the door. And I'm saying this particular family, the husband would come to the door, have me stand in the hall, because they didn't allow black people in their house. Now, these are the people I'm advocating, fighting for. But a lot of things, at the time went over your head. Okay, let me just do my job and move on. And you just would hope at the end of the day and stuff like that they would see past the color or whatever. Never did, but okay. But, you still did your job. This particular day, I'm in, court, like I stated. So my daughter allegedly was supposed to be in school. I'm told after I got, on a train or whatever to go to school, to go to court, she goes with this girl. This girl asks her to come with her for a minute to her friend's house. You know what I mean? And we'll make it back for second period or whatever, she told my daughter. Meanwhile, all along, this was a setup, right? So my daughter follows her. Don't know where she's going, because, I didn't have my daughter like in the street and those things like that. And even more so, to explain more, my daughter was born with epilepsy seizures, and sometimes she would just fall out in the street. So of course, I didn't want her in the street having a seizure, or just, because a lot of times when she had the seizure, she would lose memory as well. And I didn't want her, after having a seizure, falling, hitting her head, and then wandering all around in the street, didn't know her name, those things like that. That's how bad her seizures was. So, and then I just don't want my daughter cutting school, period. So she goes with this girl or whatever. Now, all along, like I said, this is a setup. This girl, and this is a foundational African-American, takes my daughter to her friend's house, being a guy. All along, this is a setup. However, whatever she told my daughter goes in the room with the guy. The guy proceeds to try to, kiss on my daughter, those things like that. But at the end of the day, he ends up raping my daughter. Raped my daughter, sodomized my daughter, beat my daughter so bad. I was in court, so when you're in court, you have to keep your phone off, right? You can't, the judge will go crazy if your phone goes off. So, when I got out of court, I'm getting all these messages and stuff, right? So, only thing because when you go through things like that, a lot of times, things are blocked out, like your memory or whatever. And I don't know if you block it out just to just to keep yourself from going crazy. Only thing I don't know how I got to the hospital from Brooklyn. How did I end up in the hospital? I know when I end up. I don't even remember how I got to the hospital. Matter of fact, I don't even know. Right, so my daughter's in the hospital. I know it's a detective there. I know, they have to do this rape kit on her, those things like that. I know that, I'm just standing there. They're telling me that my daughter, explaining my daughter kept skip school, this, that, and other, and stuff like that. And, they kept saying allegedly she said she was raped, this, that, and others. But, they do the rape kit. They seen that my daughter was sodomized. My daughter's like a fairer complexion than I am. You could see even where it's that this guy had strangled my daughter so bad. I don't know how many times my daughter said she passed out. Now, reminding me, I told you that she has epilepsy seizures. He could have killed my daughter. I don't know if she had a seizure during the time. I don't know. I know that she had like the bruises around her neck and everything. I know that she had bite, and that's the thing. She had bite marks like a dog. He had bit my daughter all over, like her arms, her back. One of her, I don't know if it was her left breast. He had bit my daughter so bad, it's almost like you could tell like her breast looked like it was hanging off, like her nipple was hanging off. This is what he did to my daughter. And I'm standing there like in shock. And it's like until you go through it, it feels like you're in a dream. You know what I mean? So I'm just standing there trying to, keep myself in. And then even more so like believing in the system. You know what I mean? And that's why I would tell anybody, anybody, the system is built to fail. The system is not for us. And if I didn't believe it any other time, that day God made me a believer. The system is not for us. And all these people we fought to come over here, these people are not for us. It's almost like a joke is on us. You know what I mean? Because we always, trying to be one big nigger. And I'm going to say that shit. That's what we try to be. Everybody, oh yeah, they say they black. They say they black. Let's bring them in. My sister, my brother. You know what I mean? Let's do God will. And sometimes God will is not that. You know what I mean? And it's almost like you fight so hard, you brought your enemy right into your land, right into your community. And now they got ownership of everything. You can't buy a bubble gum without somebody, hey, beat up the bigger. You know what I mean? Can't even get, I'm telling you. Let me not get off the subject. You can't even get a damn job today unless you know 2 and 3 other languages. Like I said, I'm a caseworker. Been a caseworker for years. Been a foster parent for equally. If I say I was a caseworker for 25 years, I was a foster parent for 25 years. I'm telling you, all throughout, if I even say the foster care system, they have that sold up. You can't get a job without one of these migrants or immigrants interviewing you. And I'm telling you, and then for the most part, I wouldn't even have a problem with it if it was a balance there. You don't see none of Foundation African American owning nothing. Not supervising over nothing, not directing over nothing. When this man got into office, he made sure everything was covered within his people. Even when you go into his office, nothing you see there but Puerto Rican. But he likes to run, I'm black. Yeah, your color's black. You know what I mean? And quite naturally, not even black. And stop using black. Anything that's black is your heart. How about that? You know what I mean? So anyway, yeah. Go look at my daughter and stuff like that. She's sitting there and stuff, or laying there, had to go through the rape kit and stuff like that. I later found out, and I know I'm bouncing around and stuff like that, later found out also that after he raped my daughter, he kept screaming, like, what's that, like covering her mouth. The mother was in the house the whole time. And she happened to bust into the room. Now, meanwhile, this girl moves and then goes in the hall when she sees the mother. And then the mother asks him, like, bang, bang, bang on the door. He finally opened it. What are you doing? And my daughter said she was telling, he raped me. And then she was asking him, I'm going to just say, Junior or Papi, did you rape her? And then he was like, yeah. And then she told my daughter, don't come back in my house. put my daughter out in the hallway naked and closed the door. My daughter said she was so scared, to even stay in the building, because I guess she probably figured that he was going to come back, or they was going to come back and get her. And then she told my daughter she better not never report that. You better not say nothing to nobody. Oh, man, listen. So my daughter goes out the building naked, This girl is laughing, pointing, while my daughter's trying to put her clothes on while she's walking. This girl is pointing, laughing. Now, this is the one I told you that was stinking. And I'm serious, stinking. You know what I mean? I'm feeling bad for her. I'm telling my daughter, do right by how all these kids was teasing her and stuff like that. I later found out from one of the one of the teachers inside the school, after everything got around to the school and everything, one of the guidance counselors, rather, she was telling me that she had several conversations with, my daughter, telling my daughter, to leave the girl alone. The girl is bad news. Nobody liked to be around her. She said the girl was always into something. You know what I mean? But I'm even thinking at that age, when you look back, 16 years old, 15, 16 years old, for you to be that wicked and so young. You know what I mean? And then it's like, I was talking, I think the social worker, she was saying that it's alleged that that's what she does, bring females to get set up by dudes. You know what I mean? And my daughter happened to be one. You would think even with someone like that, how kind my daughter was to her. You know what I mean? Always sharing her lunch, always giving her money. You know what I mean? If I went out and bought, I forgot what was popular at the time. I think it was her birthday or something. I think Coach or some crap like that. Went and bought the girl a Coach bag. You would think, even at that young age, you would think, okay, let me not do that to her. I don't know. But anyway, so, this happened with my daughter and stuff like that. Now, let me get to this old one big nigger, this Ruben Diaz character. So, you going through whatever. The police is questioning my daughter. How they question you, ask you 50 things, 50 different ways. And I think was so hard for me and so sad for me is the female that was questioning my daughter kept asking her what kind of shorts you had on, or what kind, what were you wearing, as to indicate okay, because you had this on, this is why this happened to you. Why would you cut school? These kids asking her question almost to make her feel guilty, as to say, okay, I don't want to press any charges because, I shouldn't have cut school, or I shouldn't have been wore these little shorts or whatever. Regardless of what, your job is to do your damn job. You know what I mean? So me and her kept bumping heads. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you, right, so doing all that, so they finally arrested the guy, I think 2-3 days later. Now, at that particular time, they were supposed to arrest him. She's going to call me, I don't want to arrest him today because today is a holiday. Let's let him enjoy his time with the family. So these are the things, I'm sitting back thinking, why? I think for me, had a slight nervous breakdown, because when you think about all these things, it's blow after blow after blow, and then more and more. I think the Most High was showing me, you know what I mean? Don't put all your trust in these people. You know what I mean? You living in a wicked nation. You know what I mean? These people are wicked. So little by little, he's showing me who these people really are. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking you can't be that evil. Some point in life, you have to say, okay, you know what I mean? These people are doing right by you. You know what I mean? You would think that people would do right by you because you're showing them so much love. But I think during that time, I really started to believe of evil. You know what I mean? Evil really does exist. It's good and it's evil and everything. But this right here, nothing but evil. This lady was so mean to my daughter, this so-called police officer or whatever. Even so much so that when they finally did arrest this guy, don't you know they arrested him? He admitted everything that he did. And they had to eventually let him go because she forgot to read him his Miranda rights. But even, yeah. You know what I mean? Big goofy ass. Yeah, so end up having to let him go. All right. Meanwhile, I'm running around trying to see like who can advocate for us, this, that, another. So I land at this man's office. Go to his office, of course, like I said, and I'm not looking at that at the time like everybody in there Hispanic or whatever, So the receptionist, I'm asking, explaining what, happened and stuff like that, with my daughter, I need, like some kind of advocacy. I didn't know where to go with this. I know that we needed a lawyer, those things like that, but I wanted this guy also prosecuted. I also, was trying to let the police know that he was sending people around where I live at, because we wasn't too far from the school, and they didn't want, I guess the thing is they didn't want, of course, this boy going to jail. And at the time, like I told you, my son was down south. Although I have like a lot of family, it was just myself and my daughter in the Bronx, raggedy, stinking, bummy, burnt down Bronx. At the time, still stuck in this raggedy dump. Right, so we're in the Bronx at the time, and I guess they had let these gang members or whatever know where we live at, so they was coming harassing us and stuff. You come call the cops, they don't do anything because they didn't see the person. The person got to actually kill you. Got to be a damn victim before they can, bring CSI, out to clean you up or clean up the crime scene, because that's what it takes in the Bronx. You got to be dead. Just call us when you one breath from dying, and hopefully we can get there in time to resuscitate your ass. But other than that, knocking on the door, nah. We need more than that, like cut, stab, you know what I mean? Maybe on your last breath, maybe losing a limb. Call us then, We need something exciting before we can run out, right? That's how they treat it. So, went looking for some kind of help from this brillo head, one big nigga office. Go to his site and stuff like that. The first thing she asked me, did you vote for him? You know what I mean? And then kind of like threw me off. I'm like, did I vote for him? At the time, no. Didn't you just hear me, ma'am? Hear you tell you that my daughter, breast was almost ripped off. She was sodomized, beaten. If my daughter's face was so lumped up. Right, so I'm sitting there. Don't you? The bottom line is that we sat there, filled out some kind of paperwork. They didn't help us. Took all our information, would never call us back. Nothing out of that office. You know what I mean? And I'm even thinking, if I never voted for you, you understand what I'm saying? I'm coming in here. I know you have to have a child, and then it's like almost where it's that. I think for me, even it's still hard today. Like they put a distinction between us. They say that they're foundational Black American, but it's a distinction. Like with me, I'm saying, okay, although I'm FBA all day, if I see a Hispanic that need help, Mexican, whatever, Caucasian, I don't care the color. If the child is in need, the child is in need. You know what I mean? You put all that other nonsense on the back burner and you do what you got to do, because that one day, unbeknownst, I don't know if these people believe it or not, we all got to answer to God. You know what I mean? All this shit that he getting up there, did it go? No, you don't. You know what I mean? But then I also know that there's several different gods. I wonder which one he's serving, because you can't be serving mine, because you would do right. You know what I mean? And you would know by now your complexion don't make you, you know what I mean, part of us. Going out there doing the work. And when people put you in office, we put you there because we trusted in you. We trusted in you that you would balance things out. Now we don't even see us in the community. You know what I mean? And I think the thing is, there's so much hate towards Foundation of African America. They would prefer to put an Indian in the place before us. They will put a Mexican in the place before us, long as that we don't get ahead.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all.